Are your people stronger because of you? Most leaders measure performance, but very few measure the human cost of how that performance is produced. Let me start with something you have almost certainly seen. A team delivers strong results quarter after quarter. Deadlines are met, targets are hit, and execution looks solid. From the outside, everything appears to be working. But then something else begins to happen. People hesitate to speak in meetings. Risk is raised later than it should be. Disagreements start to disappear. At first, this looks like alignment. It is not. It is adaptation. And that adaptation does not happen randomly. It is learned. People are reading the environment. They are watching how leaders react to disagreement, to mistakes, and to pressure. They are testing what is safe and what is costly. And then they adjust. They speak less, they delay risk, they filter what they say. And over time, that adaptation stabilizes. And that stability becomes culture. This is the first shift you need to see clearly. What leaders do repeatedly shapes how people behave. And as those behaviors repeat, they start to shape who people become. So this is not only about deliverables or KPIs. It is about stress levels, confidence, resilience, and identity. Most executives believe they manage performance. In reality, they shape human trajectories. Leadership does not operate in big speeches. It accumulates in small moments. Your tone in a meeting, how you react to mistakes, how you behave under pressure, how predictable you are. Each of these moments sends a signal, and people interpret those signals. For example, a public dismissal in a meeting teaches that speaking up is risky. Silence when someone takes a risk teaches that risk is not protected. Inconsistent standards teach that rules are flexible. Unclear expectations teach that responsibility is unstable. And those signals accumulate. People adjust their behavior to match them. That's how leadership becomes culture. Now, once culture stabilizes, the next effect becomes visible. And this is where the cost appears. Research in occupational health psychology shows a consistent pattern. Leadership behavior predicts stress, emotional exhaustion, and long-term health outcomes. So when leaders rely on pressure, inconsistency, or excessive control, several things begin to happen. Stress increases, exhaustion rises, attention fragments, error detection weakens. This happens because people are no longer operating with full cognitive capacity. Under fatigue, they simplify decisions. They reduce options, they avoid difficult conversations, they protect themselves first. And this does not stay contained inside work. Work stress transfers to sleep, to health, and to family life. So a leader may believe they are driving results, but at the same time, they may be reducing someone's long-term capacity to deal with life. This leads to a structural mistake. Leaders focus on visible output and ignore invisible depletion. They see delivery, but miss recovery. They see compliance, but miss withdrawal. They see loyalty, but miss fear. They see speed, but miss erosion of judgment. At this stage, performance can still look strong because the system is still absorbing the strain. But once strain becomes chronic, the system starts to degrade. Patience decreases, impulse control weakens, ethical clarity declines, strategic thinking narrows. And this is where the problem escalates, because reduced cognitive capacity leads to poorer decisions, and poor decisions increase consequence. When judgment declines across a team, consequence multiplies. High impact decisions are made faster than they should be. Escalation happens later than it should. Risk signals are ignored longer than they should be. This is not engagement loss. This is structural exposure. Now, there's another path. If leadership behavior creates depletion, it can also create capacity. Research shows that supportive and transformational leadership increases resilience, psychological resources, and sustained performance. But support here is precise. It means clarity under pressure, consistency in standards, fairness in consequences, predictability in escalation, calm under volatility. These conditions change how people operate. People raise risks earlier because they expect a stable reaction. They admit mistakes sooner because they are not punished unpredictably. They take responsibility because it is safe to do so. And that changes outcomes. Early escalation reduces consequence, faster correction improves decisions, stable behavior under pressure sustains performance. This leads to the deeper point. Leadership changes the internal capacity of your people, which means leadership changes lives. Most definitions of leadership focus on influence or results. That is incomplete. Leadership is a specific quality of relationship that produces transformation. And that transformation happens in two dimensions. The person becomes more capable professional, and the person becomes a stronger human being. If only the first happens, it is management. If both happen, it is leadership. Stronger does not mean softer. It means more resilient under stress, more capable of difficult conversations, more stable when pressure rises, more accountable when outcomes are negative, and more coherent between values and action. So now you can test it. If people perform but collapse when stakes increase, leadership failed. If people deliver but cannot tolerate disagreement, leadership failed. If people hit targets but avoid responsibility under risk, leadership failed. Stop asking, did we hit the target? And start asking, what did it cost the people who hit it? Measure what reveals leadership impact. Decision quality under fatigue, escalation speed under risk, error correction without blame, willingness to speak when authority is present, responsibility under ambiguity. If your team delivers but cannot sustain tension, something is wrong structurally. Because performance without growth extracts people, and performance with growth develops them. So the final diagnostic becomes clear. Your team members should be able to ask themselves, am I a stronger professional and a better person because I worked with this leader? If the answer is yes, you are leading. If the answer is no, you extracted output. Leadership is not neutral, it is formative. Information always moves in one direction. If this way of thinking is useful, the deeper analysis lives in the newsletter, where I examine leadership capacity at structural level. If you want next breakdown, subscribe to the channel. And if this changes how you see motivation and leadership, share it with someone who leads. Rewire how you lead.